Hey everybody, Billy Bob here, and it's Monday. Today we're going to call it Motivation Monday, and I'll explain in just a minute or two. But first, a couple things happened on this date, July 28th in history, one of which was important, very important to the United States. The 14th Amendment was enacted, and that was the citizenship and the equal rights and civil rights of the African American slaves that were enslaved in this country and were emancipated after the Civil War. Secondly, in 1540, Henry VIII married Catherine Howard. Now, he had just recently, 19 days prior, had divorced Anne of Cleves. Now he marries Catherine. That didn't last too long because shortly, let's say a little over a year after the marriage, Henry VIII figured out that, was it Henry VIII? Oh my God, I might be all wrong here. Hold on. No, I'm right. Oh, I had a brain cramp, but I am correct, Henry VIII. So, after he married Catherine, and everything's cool, everything's groovy, but after about 14 months, he realized that she had had some premarital affairs. Now, today's world, you date. Premarital, they don't really call that an affair, right? It's premarital. You date, you go out, and then you find somebody that you like, you love, you marry them, you move on. So, but anyway, one of the people that she had dated, she actually hired as her secretary, and another whom was a cousin. I don't know how far off as a cousin he was, but she supposedly committed adultery with. So, back in those days, people weren't so forgiving, and Henry VIII, there was some process he had to go through, but the bottom line is, his wife Catherine Howard, was beheaded. Off with your head. No mas, no more. So that's that. All right, let's get to the highlight of Motivation Monday. Now, stop right there. Do not turn this video off, okay? Because this is a really cool story. In fact, as I was doing a little research on this, over the weekend, I saw the event going on. It was on the news. I knew a little bit about this guy, very little, but a little. And then I go to their page and I start researching, and it's so deep, and it's such a great story. And so I thought I'd share the whole story, not just the event. I was going to just share the event, and I thought that was really cool. But it's called the Bullard Family Foundation, who had this event. They had this event on Saturday at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, home of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's called a Back to School Bash, and it's put on by the Bullard Family Foundation. Now, in 2024, they had roughly 50,000 people showed up. They gave out 30,000 backpacks with school supplies. Over 100 corporate partners. And this is really cool. They give health screenings. They give vision. Now, vision, the Glazer Vision Foundation, okay? The Glazer family. For those of you that don't know, the Glazer family owns the Tampa Bay Bucks. And they also own probably the most valuable sports franchises in the world. And I'm not talking America, I'm talking the world. They own Manchester United. So for all those people out there that say billionaires got to pay their fair share and billionaires got to do more, here's the Glazer Family Foundation. They're involved in this event. They do eye screening, eye tests, and if you need glasses, You don't have to wait. They send somebody down with the prescription down to the van, and they make your glasses right there. And these kids, when they leave, if they need vision care, they leave with glasses. They have dental services, haircuts, if I didn't say haircuts, food, entertainment, all kinds of stuff going on. And so this is all put together by the Bullard Family Foundation. Now you say, here's where we go. Here's where we are. Who is the Bullard Family Foundation? Well, it was started by this guy named Thaddeus Bullard. Now, I know who he is. I'm going to tell you who he is. He's got a nickname. But before I do, I mean, this guy, it's a story of a lot of people, but this guy pulled his ass up out of despair, and he made something not only for himself, but then he gave to others. So Thaddeus Bullard was born to a 12-year-old mother who had been raped. Okay? 12 years old, they were hungry, they were poor, they were constantly moving, couldn't pay the rent. He said he knew if he came home and there was a lock on the door, that means they were moving. He wore shoes that were typically too small. He got tattered pants. He got childed and made fun of for that. He said, I was an angry and a pugilistic kid, meaning he was a fighter, right? So he figured he probably would have, if things wouldn't have gone differently, he would have wound up either dead or in jail. But the Florida Sheriff's Ranch, they saw something in this guy, and the people saw something in this guy. And so they took him in and they started working with him. You know what? He became the #1 high school recruit in the nation, graduated from the University of Florida with 2 degrees, served as a student body president, and went on to play professional football. And then, let's put the frosting on this cake. He then became a WWE wrestler known as Titus O'Neil. And now you know the story of the Bullard Family Foundation founder and the story of not only Thaddeus Bullard, but Titus O'Neil. I hope you enjoyed this. If you get a chance, just check out their page, thebullardfamilyfoundation.org. Just check it out. Check out what they do, how they do it, who their corporate partners are, and I think it'll make you smile. America, land of the free because of the brave. Stay focused, America. Billy Bob, peace out.